Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Black, White, and Dead All Over. I'm Victor Dandridge.
Ryan Seymour.
And instead of actually doing our normal read the new books, we wanted to shout out some good, scary stuff.
Yeah,
Some
there's a lot.
Yes.
And it typically goes overlooked.
True.
So we figure, what better time of the year? Halloween, Samhain. Let's do this.
I mean, when Halloween falls on New Comic Day, it kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Like, I think like the fates kind of were like, guys, do this, do this. Now, if you can check out the books that we have here, we don't have any cross representation, but we've pretty much read all of the stuff that's here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you might have one or two that I've not read, but I'm eager to find out.
But the main one that we've read.
We were talking about that.
Doc, you wish.
Do you want to talk about that one first? You just want to go ahead and get that one?
Yeah, because it's really good.
Okay.
It's going to be a Netflix television series. Is that?
It's got to be. It's part of the deal. It's part of the deal. If it's not part of the deal, it will revert to part of the deal at some point.
Yeah. So it's something American Jesus
Yes.
Chosen by Mark Miller. It's one that when he when I first heard about it, he was in Columbus for a convention, and he was talking about different projects he wanted to do. And one of them was like the secret origin of Peter Parker, where it was actually Aunt May was Peter's mom, and then the other one was and I'm like,
he did that.
But at the time I'm like, there's no.
You're like, you can't do that.
He did that. And he also said, Ultimate Jesus. Go for it.
Now, the caveat though is that this is only part one of that story.
Right.
So
I've been waiting years. Years for part
I
two.
think we're literally talking a decade at this point. Like a
it's been
solid
many
decade. Because I remember this was actually the first time that Mark Miller as a brand came into my radar, because it was part of the 4-book launch that was with 4 different publishers at the time, which is crazy. Like, that never happened, right?
Like, who's got the clout to pull that off?
Mark.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, at the time it was called The Chosen, not American Jesus, which I think
it's an interesting rebrand.
it is an interesting rebrand. And more than that, what we were just talking about was for the trade paperback version.
Yeah.
One of the scariest portions of this story has been removed. Someone at some point was like, that's too far.
And it is and it isn't.
Right.
Like, it's all right. So what the story is this kid, he's a teenager, growing up in middle America, starts manifesting like strange powers.
Yeah.
Like he can bring.
Well, it starts because he survives a near-death experience. Like unscathed, unbreakable style survive.
And then the powers start.
Yeah.
Brings a pet back to life.
Yep.
There's something weird with his tongue. You just have to read.
You
full.
just gotta read it. You just gotta read it.
And he comes to begin to believe that he is the second coming. He has a support structure around him that is coming into this.
Right into it. They're like, I agree.
Yeah. And then there's the plot twist, which punches you so because you're reading it and you're following along.
You're believing, man.
Yeah.
Like, I was never ending story of this kid. I'm like, yes, you are him. You are the kid who can rename the Empress.
Stuff happens, and it's so brutal. It's not even like a normal plot twist.
No.
Where it's like it actually hurts your brain because it's so like everything you believed is completely wrong.
Wrong. Like, that's what it is. It's like, it's not even that it's not right. It is wrong.
Yeah. And then the pure evil of the things that, depending on which version you get.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one I can't wait for Volume 2. If you haven't read it, if you're fans of like Rosemary's Baby, or The Omen, sort of more of a cerebral where you build the horror up in your head, I would recommend checking out.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to know about the change, I believe you can Google it.
Yeah.
And it'll talk about it. It'll talk about what the change is. But what I've never seen is any statement from Mark as to why it was changed. So we know that it was changed. We might have to tweet him about that and be like, so was this like a deal with Dark Horse Image? What happened? Yeah, because that's right. It did originally come out with Dark Horse.
Yeah.
So maybe once it moved over to Image, Image was like, pause. Hey, listen. Can we
dial back on the
little bit, just a little bit?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Speaking of Image, what I want to talk about is Nightmare World. Now, what's interesting is that I have the 4th volume up here, which did not come out from Image. That's actually through First Comics Devils Do, but it is the work of Dirk Manning overtly. He's the writer behind the entire Nightmare World run, but it's got a lot of different artists in it. Very talented folks. Some you know, some you've never heard of before, but you should get to know them. It's very, very important. I first encountered this series back in 2010. I believe I bought it. It was at C2E2. It was like literally the weekend I met Dirk. And mind you, this is 2010. This other big tome that I have here had been out. Yeah. But I was not a fan of that series. Nightmare World is the first horror comic that I can truly say I fell in love with.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like it was really cool. Yeah, it's great. It's got a Twilight Zone feel to it, a lot of different short stories, not told in a linear fashion, but there is a linear story that's, it builds up and it becomes this big thing. Okay, so real talk, real confession time. A lot of the stories here, if not all of the stories here, are told in 8-page increments. That is literally what I built Vantage in House off of, was the 8-page story because of Nightmare World. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's one that, Dirk holds that over my head from time to time. And it's fair, because literally I had never thought to do it. And once I saw how well you can tell a story in 8 pages, I was like, this is my life. And so, pretty much 75% of the series that I've written have been that. So
Nightmare World, it's amazing. Also, Tales of Mystery is another part of Dirk's stuff, and it's a very smart read. It takes the foundation of like the Lovecraftian style horror, but then modernizes it very much well.
Very good. That's a great call. That's a really good call. If you get a chance, pick a Comic-Con. He'll probably be there. Certainly, if you're in the Midwest, and talk to him about it. He's actually just released an omnibus edition.
Yeah, that's right.
Which did really well on Kickstarter. So he's a Kickstarter like phenom. So trust and believe, there's going to be more stuff to come, and you want to jump on board with Nightmare World stuff as soon as possible.
He has a huge social media presence and is very active with his followers.
Very. He's in your dreams. You just have never noticed. Yeah. He looks like the Babadook. That's not even a joke. He really does. I know, you was doing it. I was like, Babadook, stop it. Okay, so what else you got over here?
It's bouncing over, taking the kind of Lovecraftian theme a bit. Providence, Alan Moore. And he also did Neonomicon, which is like a Nightmare World vibe, right? Modern version of it.
Wait, hold on. Dirk, did you pay him to put you in the same conversation as Alan Moore? Did that just happen? Okay, all right.
I'll just take some signed copies.
Okay, I just wanted to call that out because wait, what?
They both have that thing going on.
Right.
Dirk really respects that, the foundations that horror is built on. Of course. And so does Alan Moore. And Alan Moore with his Providence stuff, because there's Cthulhu slippers, Cthulhu mugs.
Dude, he was taking it back.
Yeah, he's like, hey guys, Cthulhu is scary crap. So he's like regaining it, redeeming it for us horror fans.
Right.
And it is one issue, 28-page story redos of the original works that Lovecraft had.
Yes.
Probably the most terrifying of all of them for me is the Weekly Farm, where they take that entire story, put it into 28 pages, and throughout each of the issues, there are letters that the protagonist is writing back home.
Right.
And the letters that he sends and the drawings from that particular thing,
not okay.
Yeah, they're not okay. They're here forever.
Yep. Why did you have to bring that up? Like, you could have talked about any other story that you wanted to. That was...
Providence is so amazing. So if you're a fan of old school Lovecraft stuff, definitely pick up.
That's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. You know, this is so funny, like, to have it bounce back and forth. Speaking of old world monsters, okay? From AfterShock Comics, Dark Arc, like... Listen, if you watch the show, you know how much we love this series. The idea that there was a second arc, okay? And on this arc were all the bump in the night creatures, the fictional creatures needing to escape to the new world. What could go wrong? I don't know.
But then Cullen Bunn takes this simple premise, and like you said, what can be done? And he takes it to a direction we never even thought would happen.
First of all, I didn't even think about the notion that there was a second boat, okay? That's number one. Then the places that he goes, the places that he goes are so dark, so dreary, but fabulous. Like, you can't help but love every ounce of it. It's crazy.
There's like a murder mystery aspect of the first story, and then it builds to this epic. There are old guys, and it's so seamlessly done. And there's the vampires lady, because since the unnatural creatures,
There you go.
need food.
Yeah.
All that makes sense because they have to keep Noah's boat going.
Because there's gonna need something.
Yeah.
It's gotta be there.
And one of the things I find really fascinating is the really, really horrible stuff.
Yeah.
Are the flashbacks, and it's not necessarily.
It's not the supernatural things that are doing it.
It's just humans and what they do.
That's the terrifying part right there. Absolutely terrifying. I mean, you can't even just be like, well, no, you don't understand. No. I've seen people act like that. And I'm still the mom with the kid.
You belong here.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just.
That was still one of the worst feelings as a parent.
Yeah.
To read that, I was like,
because how could you make the choice that she made?
oh.
And then
And she was fine with it.
Yeah.
Oh, but she got her desserts.
Yeah.
Or was desserts?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. There's only 2 trade paperbacks for it, and it's just worth it.
They're so good. Yeah, so good. What's the last one you got up here?
Severed. So also kind of old school in terms of time frame. This one takes place at Scott Snyder. You love them on Batman, right? Love them in Witches, which is another one.
That is a good one.
Yeah. And this one is a one and done. I don't know if he has plans to revisit it. It takes place, which I think it could, because it's not. This one's not supernatural, right? There's no boogeyman. It takes place during the Great Depression. Okay. And this kid encounters this traveling salesman, and the kid's never met his father. He thinks it's a picture of his father. It's a traveling salesman.
It's David Hasselhoff.
Yeah. You've seen this in Guardians too. Gosh, that'd be awesome.
It's a correlation. I'm sorry.
And so the traveling salesman's like, oh, I knew that dude. And so the kid just innocently is like, oh, I can meet my father. So he goes on this trip with the traveling salesman.
Wait, where's this kid's mom? Oh my, okay.
Yeah, it's parenting.
Okay, I was like, he just meets this random stranger that travels for a living. He's like, I'm just gonna go with you. The things you can do in the 1930s that you can't do now.
Yeah. You find out that the traveling salesman is far more than we thought. It's ghastly. When you do find out what's happening. It's brutal.
That sounds kind of rich. Yeah. My last pick is actually a local shout out. Dan Leister did this book through Kickstarter, if I'm not mistaken. It's called WereWolf Run. Now, Dan is a buddy of mine. I've known him for, oh God, that's embarrassing. I don't want to say how long that's been. Yeesh. But for a while, we'll say. I remember, like, when he first started talking about this idea to percolate in his brain pan. Are you a fan of American Werewolf in London?
Yeah, that was my
so
most
is
masculine.
No, I understand that one. It tickled a little piece in you. Dan definitely is as well. And this has one of the best werewolf stories I've read in a very long time. Fantastic. To the point where, like, the first issue, you care about the people, and you don't even think about, hey, wait, there's supposed to be snarly stuff. Like, it's time jumps. It's really solid storytelling. Fun bits. I literally just texted him a little bit ago and cussed him out about how good this book is. Like, because that's what friends do. We're like, forget you, man. You did a great job. It's a really good book. I cannot wait for this story to continue because there has to be more based on what they want.
Now, can you get that off his website?
Yes. In fact, I know he has copies that he was selling. I actually just got mine at CXC like a couple weeks ago. So check out his website. I think it's danleister.com, or follow him on Twitter. Just if you look at him, Leister, Leister. Find him and get this book because it's dope. And the more people that buy it now, the faster we'll get that volume 2. I need that volume 2 in my life. You can actually find him more creepy stuff on Lord of Gore. What? Yeah, he's a penciler for that. Yeah. So he's all about that. He also had a run on what is it, the Army of Darkness?
Okay.
Yeah, he did that. He did some hack slash. Clearly, he's got like a thing.
Yeah, there's a vibe on it.
There's a thing. He loves superheroes. It's fights and tights all day long.
Capes and drapes made out of human flesh.
That's more like him, actually. That is more like him. I was his neighbor. You don't even want to know what I know. What do you got over here is the honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Penny Dreadful.
Oh, it's such a good show.
Yeah. It was when I wasn't hip to it at first because when I first heard about it, if you're not familiar with the show, it takes like the monster from
Yes.
Frankenstein,
Yes.
werewolves,
Yes.
all these characters, kind of like almost a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, sort of, in terms of
Sort
like
of?
their concepts and
Right.
characters that you know. But they're all together, and at first it was just like they're just cramming stuff together, and it actually turns out that it's this amazing, horrible,
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
The way they almost don't have any soundtrack
Right.
is really horrifying.
You're
It
just
keeps
in
building
the
tension.
space. You're just in the space.
Yeah.
The cast of it is all-star
Oh,
too,
yeah.
man. I mean, Josh Hartnett, Billy Piper
Yeah.
is in it. Like,
Oh, yeah, she's so well. Frankenstein, yeah, didn't. That's the weird thing, because Frankenstein made a monster, just not.
not quite as we understood,
Yeah.
but he definitely made a monster.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because that sequence with her and Dorian Gray.
I'm sorry. I haven't seen that in so long. I'm literally going to go back and watch
Yeah,
this series.
it's so
now.
good.
Oh, that was a good one.
The,
That was really, really
the
good.
cut wife episode was
Yes.
amazing. When you figure out what a cut wife is, just an amazing,
Yeah.
amazing
It's
stuff.
so very like it's vintage, like Victorian era
Yeah.
sort of stuff. You got this mix of Americanisms with Josh Hartnett
Yeah.
and the
very British.
Yeah, super British.
Yeah.
So if you like that kind of stuff, it's wonderful. And
You'll
of
love
course, Eva Green.
David Green.
What else do you need to say?
Yeah.
You really don't.
Yeah.
All right, so while I have the other Nightmare World books, shout out to Shadowline. Jim Valentino was the first publisher of Nightmare World. What I got to give some love to is The Walking Dead.
Granddaddy.
Now, some people are like, look, we're over it. You know, they're not big fans of this series anymore, but I have to give a lot of love to Bobby Kay and Tony Moore and Charlie Adlard for what they've done, because they have literally taken comic books and made it this pop cultural thing of high importance. I mean, how many careers have been made off of this, right?
Right.
Like, Andrew Lincoln was in all kinds of stuff. Can you say that you knew who he was before he was Rick, right?
No, you
I
can't.
mean, Norman Reedus, same thing.
Same thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Chandler Riggs, we wouldn't know who that guy was, okay?
Walking Dead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, I got to give a shout out to Scott Wilson. Rest in power, sir. Longtime actor, but he will forever and always be our Herschel.
Yeah.
So without Walking Dead, there are a great many fans that wouldn't even have, this entrance into comic books and geekdom.
Yeah.
So you gotta, right? I mean,
Respect it.
yeah, no matter what. Dude, this was an awesome episode.
Yeah.
This was fun.
Yeah.
I'm almost like,
Do we just skip next week and do?
I mean, like,
more
let's
trade
just figure out
paperbacks?
another thing that we can just talk about.
You, the viewing public.
Yeah.
Why don't you comment below? Let us know if there's particular genres or themes you want us to do an episode like this for. We can definitely do it. I know a guy that owns a comic store, so
Wait, you do? Mm-hmm. Is it cute?
yes.
Oh. Goodbye, horses.
Dude, I can totally do that.
Oh, God.